In the flicker of a crimson flame, the shadows of 1,000 fleeting thoughts dance, some constructive, others destructive. The ancient Stoics understood this fire, the mind, and the clarity it could yield when tempered. They knew that thinking clearly is not a gift but an art, refined by discipline and a fierce love of truth. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Together, let us embark on a journey through the Stoic blueprint for self-mastery, a path carved from the wisdom of ages. It is time to reshape the lens through which we see the world, and in doing so, discover the profound power of clear, unshakable thought. Lesson 1. Mind Makeover. The Stoic Blueprint for Mental Sculpting. Your mind is clay, not stone. It is ever malleable, shaped by the thoughts you entertain, the habits you form, and the values you hold dear. Epictetus teaches, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This is the foundation of mental sculpting, a deliberate effort to align your inner world with the virtues of courage, wisdom, temperance, and justice. Imagine a sculptor working on a block of marble. Each chisel strike removes imperfections, revealing the form hidden within. In the same way, you must chip away at the mental clutter, doubts, fears, and destructive desires. This process demands persistence, but it is the only path to true clarity. Start with morning reflection. Upon waking, ask yourself, what kind of person do I aspire to be today? Visualize the challenges you may face and prepare your mind to meet them with virtue. For example, if you anticipate a difficult conversation at work, resolve to approach it with patience and reason. By setting an intention, you create a blueprint for your actions. Throughout the day, pause and reflect. When faced with adversity, remind yourself of Marcus Aurelius's words, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Reframe obstacles as opportunities for growth. If someone criticizes you unfairly, view it as a chance to practice humility and self-restraint rather than reacting defensively. Habits are the tools of mental sculpting. Identify one habit that clouds your thinking, such as excessive social media use or procrastination. Replace it with a practice that sharpens your mind, like journaling or reading Stoic philosophy. For instance, instead of scrolling through your phone in the morning, spend 5 minutes writing down your thoughts and goals for the day. This reflection and review. At the end of each day, engage in self-examination. Ask yourself, did my actions align with my values today? If not, consider what you can do differently tomorrow. Seneca advises, "As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters." Quality of thought leads to quality of life. Consider the story of James, a young professional overwhelmed by anxiety and self-doubt. Inspired by Stoic principles, he began a daily practice of morning reflection and evening review. Over time, he noticed a transformation. By focusing on what he could control, his reactions and efforts, he developed a calm confidence. Challenges that once seemed insurmountable became manageable, stepping stones toward his goals. To think clearly, embrace the power of perspective. Instead of viewing setbacks as failures, see them as part of your mental sculpting process. Epictetus reminds us, difficulties show a person's character. Therefore, when a difficulty falls upon you, remember that God, like a trainer of wrestlers, has matched you with a rough young man. Treat life's difficulties as the trainer's hands molding your mental clay. Through consistent effort and reflection, the art of mental sculpting becomes second nature. Each day is a chance to refine your character and align your thoughts with the virtues that lead to clarity and peace. The mind, like clay, takes shape under the hands of the sculptor, and you hold the chisel. Lesson 2. The Mind's Bouncer, Guarding the Gates of Your Mental Castle. Your mind is a fortress. and every fortress requires a vigilant guard at its gates. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Extend this principle further. If it is not helpful, do not let it enter your mind. Every thought, like a visitor, should be scrutinized before it is allowed in. Imagine a crowded marketplace where traders shout and distractions abound. Without discipline, your mind can become just as chaotic. Thoughts of fear, anger, envy, or self-doubt slip in unnoticed, disrupting your inner peace. To think clearly, you must train your mind to become its own bouncer, rejecting the unworthy and welcoming only what aligns with your values and goals. Practical application. When you find yourself overwhelmed by negative thoughts, pause and ask, "Is this thought helping me?" For instance, if you're consumed by worry about an upcoming presentation, redirect your focus. Rather than dwelling on what could go wrong, channel your energy into preparation. Create an outline, rehearse, and visualize yourself speaking confidently. By doing so, you transform anxiety into productive action. Another example. Suppose someone's criticism angers you. Instead of reacting impulsively, take a mental step back. Ask yourself, is this anger justified? Will it help me respond better? Often the answer is no. By guarding your mind against anger, you preserve clarity and prevent unnecessary conflict. The practice of journaling. Journaling is a powerful tool to filter your thoughts. At the end of each day, write down the ideas that occupied your mind. Reflect on which ones were constructive and which were not. For example, if you've been dwelling on a mistake, write it down, then challenge it. What can I learn from this? How can I prevent it from happening again? Through this practice, you strengthen your mental defenses. Real-life example. Consider Sarah, an entrepreneur facing constant setbacks. Early in her career, she allowed every challenge, from a missed deadline to a harsh email, to consume her thoughts, leaving her stressed and unproductive. Inspired by Stoic principles, she began to visualize her mind as a castle with guarded gates. Each time a negative thought arose, she questioned its validity and utility. Over time, she learned to focus only on solutions and opportunities, leading to a flourishing business and a calmer mind. The power of perspective. The Stoics remind us that our perception shapes our reality. Epictetus teaches, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. A rejection may feel like a personal failure, but is it truly? Or is it an opportunity to grow stronger and more resilient? By reframing situations, you guard your mind against despair and cultivate a clearer outlook. Building the habit. Mental guarding is not innate. It is a skill honed through repetition. Start small. Each morning, set an intention. Today, I will focus only on what serves me. Throughout the day, remind yourself of this commitment. If intrusive thoughts arise, counter them with affirmations or rational assessments. For mindset shifts. Embrace the idea that you are in control of what enters your mental space. Seneca advises, you must live for other people if you wish to live for yourself. This means letting go of petty grievances and self-centered worries, freeing your mind to focus on meaningful pursuits. When you filter your thoughts, you not only protect your peace, but also create room for wisdom, creativity, and growth. By guarding the gates of your mental castle, you transform your mind into a sanctuary of clarity and strength. Each thought you admit shapes the architecture of your inner world. Choose wisely, and let your fortress stand as a testament to your disciplined pursuit of the art of thinking clearly. Lesson 3. Reality Check. The Stoics' Guide to Seeing Through the Illusion. Reality is often veiled by a fog of assumptions, biases, and illusions. The Stoics were relentless in their pursuit of truth, knowing that clarity of thought could only arise from seeing the world as it truly is. Man is disturbed not by things, but by the views he takes of them, said Epictetus. This lesson invites you to adopt their disciplined approach to perception. a reality check that strips away illusions and anchors you in truth. Begin with a simple exercise. When confronted with a troubling situation, pause and ask yourself, what is within my control and what is not? For example, imagine you are stuck in traffic and running late for an important meeting. Frustration bubbles up, but what can you truly control? The traffic is beyond your influence, but your reaction is not. Instead of stewing in anger, use the time to prepare mentally for the meeting or reflect on how to better manage your schedule in the future. This act of separating what is controllable from what is not allows you to redirect energy toward constructive actions, a cornerstone of Stoic wisdom. The Stoics practice negative visualization as a way to dismantle illusions and foster gratitude. Picture a beloved possession, a relationship, or even your health, and imagine losing it. This exercise is not meant to invoke despair, but to sharpen your appreciation for what you have. For instance, if you find yourself taking a friendship for granted, envision life without that person. This perspective shift can deepen your gratitude and encourage you to nurture the relationship more thoughtfully. Consider the story of Alex, a graphic designer facing a major client's sudden rejection of his work. Initially, Alex spiraled into frustration, convinced the client's criticism was unfair. However, after reflecting on the Stoic principle of objective assessment, he separated his emotions from the facts. He revisited the client's feedback with a clear mind, identifying actionable areas for improvement. By accepting the reality of the situation and focusing on what he could change, Alex not only salvaged the project, but also strengthened his professional relationship with the client. One of the greatest barriers to thinking clearly is the assumption that things should always go as we desire. This illusion fuels unnecessary suffering. Marcus Aurelius advises, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Reflect on a recent disappointment. Did it truly devastate your life, or was it your interpretation of the event that magnified its impact? Reframing such moments can reveal the truth. Adversity often holds the seeds of growth. Another practice to enhance your reality check is identifying cognitive biases. Humans are wired to seek patterns, often at the expense of truth. For example, confirmation bias leads us to favor information that aligns with our beliefs, while neglecting contradictory evidence. Combat this by deliberately seeking opposing viewpoints. If you strongly believe in a particular approach to a project, invite feedback from a colleague who sees things differently. Their perspective might challenge your assumptions and uncover overlooked solutions. Dedicate time each evening to reflect on the day's events. Ask yourself, did I see things as they truly are or as I wish them to be? This habit, much like journaling, helps you build awareness of how your perceptions shape your reality. By recognizing when emotions or biases clouded your judgment, you can prepare to approach similar situations with greater clarity in the future. The Stoics remind us that life's challenges are not punishments, but opportunities for growth. Epictetus likened adversity to a wrestling partner designed to strengthen our character. When faced with hardship, remind yourself, this is my training ground. For example, losing a job might initially feel devastating, but it can also be an opportunity to reassess your career path. By committing to the Stoic practice of reality checks, you free yourself from the chains of illusion and gain the clarity needed to navigate life with confidence and purpose. In every moment of doubt or confusion, return to the question, what is true? The answer will illuminate your path and sharpen your ability to think clearly. Lesson 4. The Ego Trap. Keeping your feet on the ground when the world lifts you up. The ego is a double-edged sword. While it can fuel ambition and drive, it often blinds us to reality, creating an illusion of invincibility that leads to downfall. The Stoics were acutely aware of this trap. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think, advised Marcus Aurelius. Humility, they taught, is the antidote to the toxic effects of ego. Practical application. To keep your ego in check, practice the art of self-reflection. Ask yourself, am I acting in service of my values or my vanity? For example, if you receive praise for a job well done, resist the urge to let it inflate your sense of self-importance. Instead, acknowledge the contributions of others who helped you succeed. This practice not only grounds you, but also fosters stronger relationships built on mutual respect. Another approach is to deliberately expose yourself to situations that challenge your ego. For instance, take on tasks outside your comfort zone, where failure is a possibility. By embracing vulnerability, you remind yourself that growth, not perfection. Real-life example. Consider the story of Lisa, a successful executive who allowed her accomplishments to fuel an inflated sense of superiority. She dismissed feedback and alienated her team, believing she alone was responsible for the company's success. After reading Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, she began to see the damage her ego was causing. She implemented weekly reflection sessions where she sought honest feedback from her team and acknowledged her mistakes. Over time, her humility transformed her leadership style, earning her genuine respect and strengthening her organization. Perspective and gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful tool for countering the ego. Seneca wrote, "He is a great man who uses earthenware dishes as if they were silver, but he is equally great who uses silver as if it were earthenware." Reflect on the transient nature of success and possessions. Instead of viewing achievements as personal triumphs, see them as gifts shaped by fortune, effort, and the contributions of others. The practice of memento mori. The Stoics frequently meditated on mortality as a way to keep their ego in check. By reminding yourself that life is finite, you gain perspective on what truly matters. Imagine being on your deathbed. Would you take pride in the accolades you received, or in the meaningful connections you made and the virtues you lived by? This practice encourages humility and refocuses your priorities. Real-time humility. In moments when your ego flares up, perhaps after receiving a compliment or achieving a major milestone, pause and remind yourself of the bigger picture. Ask, how can I use this moment to serve others? For example, if you've been promoted at work, consider mentoring a colleague who aspires to grow in their career. Transforming personal success into collective benefit is the mark of a grounded and virtuous individual. Mindset shifts. The Stoics teach us to view setbacks as gifts rather than insults to our pride. Epictetus reminds us, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. When faced with failure, instead of clinging to your ego, ask, what can I learn from this? This shift in perspective not only fosters growth, but also protects you from the disillusionment that often accompanies unchecked pride. Daily affirmations. Incorporate affirmations into your routine to reinforce humility. Each morning, remind yourself, I am a part of the whole, not the center of it. Throughout the day, practice small acts of humility, such as admitting when you are wrong or giving credit where it is due. These habits accumulate, strengthening your resistance to the ego's seductive pull. By mastering the art of humility, you liberate yourself from the chains of ego and open the door to true clarity and self-awareness. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Let your thoughts reflect humility, gratitude, and a commitment to service. In doing so, you not only keep your feet on the ground, but also elevate your mind to unparalleled heights of wisdom and peace. Lesson 5. The Know-It-All Trap. Embracing the beauty of I don't know. The pursuit of wisdom begins with the recognition of our own ignorance. The Stoics revered the phrase, I don't know, not as a confession of weakness, but as an expression of strength and openness to growth. It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows, Epictetus warns. Humility and knowledge is the foundation of clear thinking and lasting wisdom. Begin by acknowledging the limits of your understanding. When confronted with a complex issue, Resist the urge to feign certainty. Instead, approach the situation with curiosity. For instance, if you find yourself in a debate about a topic you're unfamiliar with, rather than defending an uninformed stance, say, "I'd like to learn more about that." This approach not only fosters respect, but also opens the door to deeper understanding. Another practical exercise is to regularly question your assumptions. Pick a belief you hold strongly and research counter-arguments. By doing this, you build intellectual humility and a more nuanced perspective. For example, if you believe a particular diet is the best, explore alternative nutritional approaches and the evidence supporting them. Consider Michael, a senior manager who prided himself on always having the right answers. His team, however, began to disengage, feeling their ideas were undervalued. After reflecting on Stoic principles, Michael shifted his approach. He started meetings by admitting areas where he lacked expertise and inviting input. This simple change transformed his team dynamics, fostering innovation and collaboration. Michael's willingness to say, "I don't know," not only earned him respect, but also led to better decisions. Embracing uncertainty can feel uncomfortable, but it is essential for growth. Seneca reminds us, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." Uncertainty is not a void to fear, but a frontier to explore. When you encounter ambiguity, view it as an opportunity to expand your knowledge and resilience. For example, if a new challenge arises at work, like mastering a new technology, acknowledge the learning curve and commit to the process. This mindset transforms uncertainty into empowerment. Curiosity is a powerful antidote to the know-it-all trap. Instead of focusing on being right, focus on learning. Cultivate a habit of asking questions. If you meet someone from a different background or profession, show genuine interest in their experiences. Their insights might challenge your perspective and broaden your understanding of the world. Dedicate time to reflect on instances where ego may have driven you to assert knowledge you didn't have. Ask yourself, did my desire to appear knowledgeable hinder my ability to learn? For instance, if you've ever avoided asking a question out of fear of looking foolish, recognize that moment as a missed opportunity. Use this awareness to approach similar situations differently in the future. Reinforce the beauty of "I don't know" with daily affirmations. Each morning, remind yourself, "I am a student of life, and every experience is a lesson." Throughout the day, look for opportunities to learn from colleagues, strangers, or even setbacks. Accept that knowledge is infinite and no one can grasp it all. By embracing this truth, you free yourself from the pressure to know everything and instead focus on continuous growth. Marcus Aurelius advises, "If someone can show me my error and prove to me that I am wrong, I will gladly change, for I seek the truth, which never harmed anyone." Let this commitment to truth guide your interactions and decisions. By stepping out of the know-it-all trap, you cultivate a mindset of humility and curiosity, laying the foundation for deeper wisdom and clarity. Remember, the most profound insights often come not from what you claim to know, but from what you are willing to learn. As you embrace the beauty of "I don't know," you embody the essence of a true Stoic thinker, open, reflective, and ever-evolving. Lesson 6. The Inner Circle. The Stoic Art of Prioritizing What Truly Matters. Life is a mosaic of relationships, choices, and commitments, but not all pieces hold equal weight. The Stoics recognized the necessity of focusing on what truly matters, particularly the people and values that shape our lives. You have to assemble your life yourself, Marcus Aurelius reminds us. The art of prioritizing your inner circle is key to clear thinking and a fulfilled existence. Begin by identifying your inner circle, the people who inspire, challenge, and support you. These relationships deserve your time and energy. For example, if you find yourself spending hours on superficial connections or acquaintances that drain your energy, pause and reflect. Redirect your focus to those who truly matter, like family members, close friends, or mentors. Create boundaries to protect your priorities. If you're constantly overwhelmed by external demands, practice saying no to requests that detract from your core commitments. For instance, if a colleague pressures you to take on a project that doesn't align with your goals, politely decline and explain your focus on other priorities. This act of self-discipline preserves your mental clarity and ensures your efforts are spent meaningfully. Sarah, a dedicated teacher, found herself exhausted from juggling professional obligations and an endless stream of social engagements. After embracing Stoic principles, she reassessed her priorities. She identified her inner circle as her immediate family and a few trusted colleagues. By reducing unnecessary commitments and focusing on these core relationships, Sarah regained her energy and rediscovered the joy in her work and personal life. To prioritize effectively, anchor your decisions in values. Seneca advises, associate with people who are likely to improve you. Surround yourself with those who embody the virtues you wish to cultivate: wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. For example, if you value intellectual growth, seek out individuals who challenge your thinking and encourage curiosity. Dedicate time each week to reflect on how you're spending your time and energy. Ask yourself, am I investing in what truly matters, or am I scattering my efforts? For instance, if you've been prioritizing work over family, consider ways to rebalance. Plan a dedicated evening with loved ones or schedule a meaningful conversation with a friend. These intentional acts strengthen your inner circle and enrich your life. Embrace the idea that not all relationships are meant to endure. The Stoics remind us to approach life with acceptance and grace. If a friendship or connection no longer serves mutual growth, let it fade without resentment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Love the hand that fate deals you and play it as your own." This mindset helps you release what no longer aligns with your priorities. Incorporate small actions to nurture your inner circle. Send a thoughtful message to a friend, express gratitude to a mentor, or simply spend uninterrupted time with a loved one. These gestures reinforce the bonds that matter most. Imagine John, an entrepreneur overwhelmed by countless networking events and superficial connections. After adopting Stoic practices, he shifted his focus to a select group of trusted advisors and close friends. This change not only improved his personal relationships, but also enhanced his business decisions, as he could now rely on genuine, meaningful advice. While cultivating your inner circle is vital, don't neglect the relationship with yourself. Solitude is a Stoic practice that fosters self-awareness and clarity. Spend time reflecting, journaling, or meditating. This internal connection strengthens your ability to navigate life with purpose and focus. By prioritizing your inner circle and values, you create a life of depth and meaning. The Stoics teach us that clarity emerges not from chasing every opportunity, but from cherishing what truly matters. As you assemble your mosaic, let each piece reflect the virtues and relationships that guide you to your highest self. Lesson 7. The Now Factor: Unlocking the Stoic Secret to Presence and Peace. The present moment is the only reality we possess, yet it is often overlooked in favor of past regrets or future anxieties. The Stoics emphasize the immense power of living fully in the now. Marcus Aurelius urges us, confine yourself to the present. This is not a call to dismiss planning or reflection, but an invitation to root ourselves in the moment, where clarity and peace reside. Begin by cultivating mindfulness in your daily life. When you find your thoughts drifting to past mistakes or future worries, gently bring your focus back to the present. For example, if you're here having dinner with your family, set aside your phone and immerse yourself in the conversation. Listen actively. The Stoics recognize the breath as an anchor to the present moment. Seneca wrote, "Life is long if you know how to use it." When you feel overwhelmed, pause and take a few deep breaths. Focus on the sensation of air entering and leaving your body. This simple practice calms the mind and centers your awareness, enabling you to respond to challenges with clarity rather than reactivity. Consider Emma, a project manager constantly juggling deadlines and expectations. Her mind was perpetually in the future, worrying about outcomes she couldn't control. After adopting Stoic mindfulness techniques, she began setting aside 5 minutes at the start of each workday to breathe deeply and reflect on her priorities. This habit transformed her approach, allowing her to tackle tasks with focus and composure. She found that by being fully present, she was more productive and less stressed. Another Stoic technique for embracing the now is negative visualization. By imagining the loss of what you hold dear, you enhance your appreciation for it in the present. For example, visualize your morning commute without the comfort of your car or the job you may take for granted. This practice doesn't dwell on fear, but sharpens gratitude, helping you to treasure what you have. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, did I truly experience today, or was I lost in distractions? For instance, if you realize you spent hours scrolling through social media, consider how you might redirect that time tomorrow. Could you take a walk, read, or engage in meaningful conversation instead? This self-awareness fosters intentional living and enhances your ability to stay grounded. Living in the now also means accepting life as it unfolds. Epictetus advises, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. When faced with unforeseen circumstances, such as a sudden delay or a missed opportunity, resist the urge to dwell on frustration. Instead, ask yourself, what can I do right now? This mindset transforms obstacles into opportunities for growth. Embrace the idea that the present moment is all you truly own. The past cannot be changed, and the future is uncertain. By anchoring yourself in the now, you liberate your mind from the burdens of regret and fear. For example, if you're preparing for an important presentation, focus on the preparation itself rather than imagining potential outcomes. This focus not only enhances performance, but also cultivates a sense of peace. End quote. Incorporate rituals that ground you in the present. Start your morning with a few minutes of mindful breathing or journaling. Throughout the day, take short breaks to reconnect with your surroundings. Notice the sensations of your body, the sounds around you, or the rhythm of your breath. These practices create pockets of presence that enrich your experience of life. Imagine Tom, a father who often felt distracted by work even when spending time with his children. Inspired by Stoic teachings, he began dedicating an hour each evening to being fully present with his family. During this time, he turned off his phone, played games, and listened attentively to their stories. This simple shift not only deepened his relationships, but also brought him a newfound sense of joy and purpose. By embracing the now, you unlock the Stoic secret to presence and peace. In every moment, there is an opportunity to live fully, to connect deeply, and to find clarity. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, perfection of character is this, to live each day as if it were your last, without frenzy, without apathy, without pretense. Choose presence and let it guide you to a life of wisdom and tranquility. Lesson 8. The sensory illusion, the Stoic's reality check. Our senses are powerful guides, but they are not infallible. The Stoics understood that what we perceive is not always reality, but an interpretation shaped by our emotions, biases, and assumptions. Don't let the force of an impression when it first hits you knock you off your feet, advises Epictetus. This lesson explores how to pierce through the illusions of the senses and see the world with clarity. The first step in overcoming sensory illusions is to pause and evaluate. When something triggers a strong emotional reaction, anger, fear, or even joy, take a moment to question it. For example, if a colleague's offhand comment irritates you, ask yourself, is their intent as harmful as I'm perceiving it, or am I assigning meaning based on my mood? Often, our initial reactions distort the truth. The Stoics practiced reframing situations to align perception with reality. Imagine you spill coffee on an important document minutes before a meeting. Instead of spiraling into panic, reframe it as an opportunity to demonstrate calm under pressure. Print a new copy, or focus on explaining the situation with grace. By reframing, you transform setbacks into moments of resilience. Consider James, who often felt slighted by minor comments from his manager. Each interaction left him frustrated, assuming malice where none existed. Inspired by Stoic principles, he began to pause and reflect on his assumptions. When his manager criticized his work, instead of reacting defensively, he asked clarifying questions. To his surprise, the feedback was constructive and not personal. This shift not only improved his performance, but also his relationship with his manager. Another practical Stoic exercise is practicing sensory discipline. Spend a day observing your reactions to external stimuli without judgment. For instance, if you find yourself annoyed by traffic noise, resist labeling it as bad. Instead, observe it as neutral information, sound waves reaching your ears. This practice builds resilience and reduces the emotional weight of sensory input. Dedicate time to reflect on situations where your senses may have deceived you. Ask, did I interpret this accurately, or was my perception clouded by assumptions? For example, if you felt disrespected by a friend's delayed response, consider alternative explanations. Perhaps they were busy or distracted, not intentionally dismissive. This habit of reflection sharpens your ability to see things as they truly are. Emotions often amplify sensory illusions, turning minor inconveniences into perceived catastrophes. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Today I escaped anxiety," or, "No, I discarded it, because it was within me, in my own perceptions, not outside." Recognize when emotions are distorting your view, and consciously separate feelings from facts. For example, if you're nervous about an upcoming event, focus on the practical steps you can take to prepare rather than dwelling on hypothetical worst-case scenarios. Despite having no certainty, it is essential that all activities, be it practical or implemented, interfere only with the unknown. Adopt the mindset that appearances can be deceiving and seek the underlying truth. Epictetus teaches, "Appearances to the mind are of four kinds. Things either are what they appear to be, or they neither are nor appear to be, or they are and do not appear to be, or they are not and yet appear to be." Reflect on this complexity and approach perceptions with curiosity rather than certainty. Start your day with a Stoic meditation on perceptions. Remind yourself, "Today I will encounter situations that may not be as they seem. I will question my first impressions and seek the truth." Throughout the day, practice gratitude for the ability to perceive while maintaining awareness of its limitations. Imagine Sophie, a customer service representative who often felt overwhelmed by angry callers. By applying Stoic principles, she began to see these interactions as reflections of the caller's frustrations, not personal attacks. This perspective allowed her to respond calmly and empathetically, transforming her work experience and reducing her stress. By mastering the art of seeing through sensory illusions, you unlock a deeper level of clarity and composure. The Stoics teach us that while we cannot control what we perceive, we can control how we interpret and respond. In every moment, strive to align your perceptions with reality and discover the freedom that comes with clear, unclouded vision. Lesson 9. The Focus Formula. Taming the Wild Monkey Mind. The human mind is often compared to a monkey, jumping from one thought to another, restless and distracted. The Stoics understood that true clarity and power emerge from a focused mind. Concentrate every minute like a Roman, advises Marcus Aurelius, on doing what is in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness. Begin by identifying the primary sources of your distractions. Is it your phone, endless to-do lists, social media. Create a focused environment by eliminating these distractions. For example, set aside specific times to check your devices and silence notifications during deep work periods. If you're writing a report, dedicate uninterrupted blocks of time to complete it. This practice of intentional focus cultivates discipline and enhances the quality of your work. Contrary to popular belief, multitasking scatters your attention and diminishes clarity. The Stoics emphasize the importance of single tasking, devoting yourself fully to the task at hand. Imagine cooking a meal while also scrolling through your phone. The result? A burnt dish and fragmented attention. Instead, focus solely on cooking. Engage with the textures, smells, and flavors. This mindful approach transforms mundane tasks into acts of presence and precision. Consider Alex, a student who struggled to concentrate during study sessions. Inspired by Stoic teachings, he began setting specific study goals for each session, such as, understand the main arguments of this chapter. He broke tasks into manageable chunks and took short breaks between them. Over time, his ability to focus improved, and his grades reflected his newfound discipline. The key was committing fully to one task at a time. Each evening, reflect on how you spent your day. Ask yourself, did I focus on what truly mattered, or did I allow distractions to dictate my time? If you find that unimportant tasks consumed your energy, adjust your priorities for the following day. For instance, if you spent hours responding to emails but neglected a critical project, schedule dedicated time for that project tomorrow. This practice of reflection and realignment ensures that your focus aligns with your goals. Mental clutter is as distracting as physical clutter. To clear it, practice Stoic journaling. Write down your thoughts, worries, and plans each morning or evening. By externalizing these thoughts, you free your mind to concentrate on the present. For example, if you're anxious about an upcoming presentation, jot down actionable steps to prepare. This simple act transforms anxiety into clarity and focus. Approach each task with a clear intention. Seneca advises, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." Set a purpose for your actions, even in small tasks. If you're cleaning your workspace, remind yourself that you're creating an environment conducive to focus and productivity. This mindset imbues everyday activities with meaning and keeps your attention grounded. Start your morning by planning your top 3 priorities for the day. Ask yourself, what are the most important things I need to accomplish today? Throughout the day, use techniques like the Pomodoro method, 25 minutes of focused work, followed by a 5-minute break, to sustain attention. This structured approach prevents burnout and maintains mental sharpness. Imagine Mia, a busy entrepreneur who constantly felt overwhelmed by her workload. By adopting Stoic principles, she began dedicating her mornings to strategic planning and deep work. During these hours, she turned off all distractions and immersed herself in her most critical tasks. The result? Increased efficiency, reduced stress, and a deeper sense of accomplishment. By focusing, accept that distractions are inevitable, but your response to them is within your control. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When distractions arise, acknowledge them without judgment and gently redirect your focus. Over time, this practice strengthens your ability to concentrate and think clearly. By taming the wild monkey mind, you unlock the power of focus and intention. The Stoics teach us that clarity is not achieved through busyness, but through deliberate action and presence. As you cultivate focus, you gain mastery over your thoughts, your time, and ultimately, your life. Lesson 10. The quiet power of restraint. The Stoic art of less is more. In a world driven by excess, the Stoics found strength in restraint. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants, Seneca reminds us. Restraint is not deprivation, It is the deliberate act of choosing less to achieve more clarity, peace, and purpose. This lesson explores the art of less is more and its transformative power in every aspect of life. Begin by identifying areas of excess in your life. This might include material possessions, commitments, or even information overload. For instance, if your wardrobe is overflowing with clothes you rarely wear, practice Stoic minimalism by decluttering. Keep only what you truly value and use. This process not only simplifies your physical environment, but also lightens your mental load. Restraint extends beyond material possessions to your time and energy. Learn to say no to activities or obligations that don't align with your values. For example, if you're overwhelmed by social invitations, prioritize meaningful interactions over superficial ones. By doing so, you protect your energy for what truly matters, such as spending quality time with loved ones or pursuing personal growth. Consider Jane, a marketing executive who constantly felt stretched thin. She attended every networking event and accepted every project, fearing that saying no would harm her career. Inspired by Stoic principles, Jane began setting clear boundaries. She declined low-priority tasks and focused on her core responsibilities. The result? Improved performance, better relationships with her team, and a newfound sense of balance. Restraint also applies to the information we consume. In today's digital age, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by endless news, social media, and entertainment. Practice digital minimalism by setting limits on screen time and curating your online environment. For example, unfollow accounts that don't add value to your life and dedicate specific times for checking email or browsing the internet. Each evening, reflect on the moments when you practiced restraint. Ask yourself, did I choose what truly mattered today? Celebrate small victories, such as resisting the urge to make an impulsive purchase or declining an unproductive meeting. Gratitude for these choices reinforces your commitment to a simpler, more purposeful life. Restraint requires self-control, a virtue the Stoics held in high regard. Epictetus teaches, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Strengthen your self-control through small daily acts of discipline. For instance, if you're tempted by unhealthy snacks, practice pausing and asking, "Will this choice serve my long-term well-being?" These micro-decisions build resilience and fortify your ability to practice restraint in larger matters. Incorporate rituals that embody the Stoic art of restraint. Start your morning with a moment of silence or meditation instead of immediately reaching for your phone. Plan your day with intentionality, focusing on a few key tasks rather than overloading your schedule. Imagine David, an architect who felt bogged down by the complexity of his life. By embracing Stoic minimalism, he simplified his daily routine, reduced unnecessary commitments, and focused on his passion for sustainable design. This shift not only reignited his creativity, but also deepened his sense of purpose and fulfillment. Embrace the idea that less is not a loss but a gain. Restraint frees you from the distractions of excess and allows you to focus on what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius advises, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Let this perspective guide your choices, reminding you that simplicity and restraint are paths to true wealth. By mastering the quiet power of restraint, you unlock the freedom to live with clarity and intention. The Stoics teach us that in letting go of excess, we gain everything: peace, purpose, and the profound joy of living a life aligned with our values. The wisdom of the Stoics is not meant to remain confined to the pages of ancient texts. It is a living philosophy, practical and transformative. To think clearly and live virtuously, start small. Reflect each morning on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. Practice gratitude for the present moment and seek simplicity in all areas of life. When challenges arise, pause and respond with reason rather than emotion. Apply the lessons of restraint, presence, and focus to your daily interactions and decisions. These small, deliberate actions will accumulate, reshaping your character and mindset over time. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Choose thoughts of clarity, courage, and compassion. By living with intention, you not only enrich your own life, but inspire those around you to do the same. This is the art of thinking clearly, a lifelong journey toward peace, wisdom, and fulfillment.